All right, so this is a guide to dieting as a fighter. Now, you might be completely new to fighting and you might want to try to do your first fight, but you have no idea how to diet. So I'm here to tell you how I did it. Now, you can kind of trust me with this because I recently fought like in a knockout tournament and I won first place and I had dieted for this. I lost 3 kg and I'm just here to tell you what exactly I did. All right. And now I'm telling you the exact way I did it because a lot of people I see just eat chicken breast, broccoli, and rice, and they eat really lame food. And it's like, life doesn't have to be that way, all right? I'm going to tell you exactly what I did while maintaining like a very healthy relationship with food and still be able to eat the things I love. Because at heart, I'm a fat fuck, all right? But I don't look like it. But if you look at the stuff that I'm eating, okay, you might think I should be a lot bigger than I am. All right. So number one, very simply, if I were to boil down this video with one key concept, it is just to eat less. That sounds very obvious, okay? But there's a lot more to it. So this concept is called like calorie deficit in the fitness like sphere, okay? A calorie deficit means that you're eating less than your maintenance. Your maintenance calories, you don't need to measure any of this out, by the way, okay? All the things I'm telling you to do, you don't really need that much equipment for it, okay? In fact, like this one, you can kind of just do, like you can implement immediately, okay? And honestly, if you're watching this video, that means you are motivated enough to take this kind of thing seriously. So I want you to try to really do all these actions, because the more actions that you do from, or the more you take from this video, the better effect that you'll get, okay? Now, with your maintenance, with the calorie maintenance, you don't have to measure what it is, but with your calorie maintenance, it means that you are replacing the amount of calories that you burn throughout the day and you're staying at relatively the same weight, okay? A person's weight can fluctuate depending on like how much they do or how much they drink, but it will remain like within 2-3 kg margin, all right? Like within the same weight, okay? But calorie deficit means to eat less. Like every week or every day you eat slightly less than what you normally would, okay? Generally speaking, if you want to track your calories, I would highly suggest using the fitness app. It's called like MyFitnessPal. What it does is it literally tracks your calories for you just by searching up what you ate, all right? But you don't have to do that. It helps, especially if you're really bad with self-control, like I am, but you don't have to track every single thing, all right? For what I did, I tracked maybe like breakfast and lunch, and I just eyeballed like what dinner was, and I would just track my weight every morning alongside that, okay? To do this, you obviously need like a scale, okay? When you weigh yourself, this is just a side point, but like when you weigh yourself, do it in the morning after you pooped and peed. This sounds stupid, but it's the most accurate reading that you will get because you'll have lost a bunch of water after sleeping and you don't have any food in you, you don't have any pee in you, okay? So do it in the morning, first thing in the morning, like after you've gone to the bathroom. Use a hard floor as well, like the hardest floor you can find. Make sure you wear like the same clothes or like similar clothing. So what I do, I basically just weigh myself in my underwear and that's it. You don't have to take a photo or anything. Just make sure you note down what the number is. Use MyFitnessPal for that if you want, okay? But with the calorie deficit, okay? Eat slightly less than what you normally would. It's usually about 200 to 500 calories less than you normally would eat. Now, if you go for 200, then the deficit won't feel as bad. This is actually good. You want this, okay? By eating like 15% to 20% less than you normally would in a day, that's actually not too bad. It's quite easy to do. All it means is that if you're used to like stuffing your belly full every time after like, you know, for all your meals, all it means is like you're not quite full. You're like, it feels enough, that kind of thing. Go for that. Already, you will go a long way. You will start losing weight from that, okay? Like your body is very smart. You don't want to let your mind take over, or like, it's very easy to overeat when you're, for example, washing stuff. Okay, if you're more present with your meals, you will find that like your belly's like it's painful. It's painful because of how full it is. Like especially for example, Christmas dinner. You'll understand what that feeling is. It's like it feels like it's about to explode. Don't eat like that. Eat until like you're 70% full. That will already take you a long way through. But if you want to do it through MyFitnessPal, I'm not sponsored or anything, but if you want to do it through MyFitnessPal, then you can track, make sure that you are eating 200 calories less than you normally would in the day, okay? Or at max 500, okay? Otherwise, as a fighter, you still need to exercise, you still need to train. Still train, but if you go any less than like 500, it's going to be very difficult for you. So, and also you'll lose more muscle, so you don't want that. You want to keep as much muscle as you can, okay? So basically, the longer period that you do the diet, the better. If you can do it within like 2 weeks before your fights, that's really good. Really, really good. If you can do it 3 weeks before your diet, that's amazing. You're not even going to feel like the deficit that much. You'll maintain a lot of your muscle. The more of a deficit that you go for, the more muscle you'll kind of lose and the worse performance that you get in the gym as well. Okay, so try to do a small deficit. Small deficits are better than large deficits, okay, because you'll keep more muscle and you'll also feel better. Okay, now that's deficits, okay? That's the most important concept of this video. But number 2, I'm going to be talking about basically how I was able to still eat the food that I really, really enjoyed while eating healthy. And it sounds like a paradox. It's very weird because like I actually love desserts. I love ice cream. I love like brownies, cakes and that, okay? But obviously right now it could be very easy. You could just eat like a third of a chocolate cake slice. Not a third of a chocolate cake, but like a third of a slice or half of a slice. Then you save the other slice for another day. That kind of thing. You could do that. But another way where you can kind of have the same portion size or something is through replacing the food or the drink with the low calorie version of it. Okay, very simple concept, but it works extremely well. Okay, very, very well. It will take you a long way. For example, sodas are very high in calories. Like a can of Coke is like 80 calories, which I think it's 80 calories. I don't really drink Coke too much, but it doesn't sound like a lot, but it can add up. It has a lot of sugar in it as well. And what sugar does is it makes you more hungry for other things. Okay, you want more sugar if you take sugar, okay? If you have the 0 calorie version of Coke, so Coke Zero, it has 0 calories in it, okay? You might still get a bit of a sugar craving. And then if you do get a sugar craving, then you just have another Coke Zero if you want, because that's still 0 calories. And there's plenty of 0 calorie options out there. You can have a Sprite Zero, you can have, I really like, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's the Iron Brew Zero. Sorry about that. Iron Brew Zero, fantastic. Also like Fanta Zero if you can. Look at the labels of the drinks, then you can find, okay, how many calories is this? Don't go any more than like 10 calories per can or something, okay? Some of the labels actually will trick you and it'll say like, what, like, it's like 20 calories, just like, it's not great, but like 20 calories for the can. It's like, oh, that's great. But then you see in the small little text, 100 ml. And each can is actually 330 ml, which then obviously you have to multiply by 3 and slightly more. So just be careful when you're reading the nutritional labels, okay? But also, speaking of like replacing the food, okay? Now, a very, very good place to go to if you want desserts is not to buy it, like physically, okay? There's not a lot of options. So what you need to do is actually make it yourself. I love to cook, I love to bake. But like, even if you don't like to cook or bake, what you'll find is that as the diet goes on, as the weight cut goes on, you'll want these kind of things, okay? That's what I find anyways. What I want you to do, go onto Instagram if you have it, or YouTube Shorts, search up healthy desserts. or healthy breakfast, healthy lunch, what that will do, you'll have a bunch of recommendations completely for free, complete free recipes that will show you how many calories is in it, how much protein is in it, because obviously you need protein as an athlete, you need to maintain your muscle, right? It will show you all those things and like how many portions it makes. So then even if it's like what, like this healthy chocolate cake is only 400 calories, which yes, it sounds like a lot, but then it makes portions as well. You can have 4 portions of it, and then the 400 calories becomes 100 calories, and it's like a big slice. Okay, many amazing options out there on Instagram, and there's always more. And if you, it's the thing, I shouldn't be condoning this, but if you wanted like something very specific and you couldn't find it on Instagram, you can use ChatGPT. Just ask it like, hey ChatGPT, I want to make like a healthy dessert. I'm on a weight cut right now, but I want something that's under 150 calories. I want like a blueberry cherry chocolate cake, that kind of thing. And then it'll show you something. It will do its best, okay? Oh, and another point to this, okay, is like, let's say you love coffee. A lot of people drink coffee. I like to drink coffee. I like tea as well, okay? But coffee usually has a lot of the calories in it because you use like cow milk. It's usually full fat or like semi-skimmed, but that has a lot of calories in it as well, okay? You can get a lower version of milk, a lower calorie version of milk. The lowest calorie version I could find in the UK anyways was no sugar almond milk. And now, before you click off the video, all right, it doesn't actually taste that bad if you use a 0 calorie sweetener with it, right? I would highly recommend, this is what I use, I would highly recommend the 0 calorie vanilla syrup from Bulk. I'm not sponsored or anything, but it's like this big liter bottle. You only need to use like a few drops, and if you mix it in with the almond milk, it tastes a lot better, and it's almost like a dessert. And what I had been doing is like during the weight cut, what I did was I like coffee, okay? I like coffee and I like caffeine. I would make myself a coffee, take no milk, okay, at all, not even the almond, no sugar. I would actually just add in like the vanilla syrup, and it tastes amazing, all right? And there's a bunch of no calorie syrups out there you can use, like sweeteners, and it's also very flexible in recipes. The vanilla syrup can literally be, it can be used in the desserts, whatever you make, from like Instagram Reels as well. Some people on the platform will use stevia or honey because technically it is a healthy sugar, but it also has like 50 calories per teaspoon, and that kind of thing adds up. So using something that's 0 calorie, it really helps, and it's still very delicious. Now, next topic is on exercise. Now, while you're on the cut, as a fighter, you obviously still have to train. You can't just stop training just because you're eating less. And I'm telling you now, it is going to be hard. Okay, it's going to be harder on a deficit because you'll feel like you have less energy. It's because it's true. So you can give yourself a bit of slack in this area, in that you can't perform as hard as you could have when you weren't going on the cuts, okay? So just know that, okay? But the lower of a cut you go for, so like let's say you go for 500 calories less instead of 200 calories less, you'll have less. If you go for 500 less, you'll feel like you have less energy, okay? And it's gonna feel really bad. I've trained while I am basically like 800 calories under or something, and I felt like I couldn't do a thing, okay? I felt like I was gonna die in the spot, because obviously, like, I train Muay Thai. It's a very hard sport, okay? And you want all the energy you can have, so I would say don't go over any under than like 500 calories of a deficit, okay? But try to train as hard as you can, but keep this in mind as well. Being in a deficit means that your recovery is actually a lot slower as well. A lot slower. You want to keep that in mind, because you can't, if you've been doing cardio like 3 times a week, which is normal, like you might do sprints, you might do a long run, then you might do I don't know, a medium run. All of that is gonna feel like, it's gonna feel a bit harder, but you'll also find that your joints, like you can feel them, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that the cut isn't working. It means the cut is working, okay? But your body has less resources to try to recover those things, okay? So just try to be careful with how you go about exercise. If you can, try to replace your cardio, for example. Like cardio is one of the biggest like factors into becoming a really good fighter. Okay, if you gas out like literally round one, you're not gonna win. You just won't. If you have good power, you might win, but you need to have good cardio to be a fighter. So you can't skip out on that. But there are alternative cardio options. Okay, for me, I do like rowing. I do skiing. I like not like actual like snow skiing, but like with the machines with the big like handles and that. I do those. Okay, it helps you stay injury free basically. I don't have to think about, oh, this run really like, I don't know if it's gonna hurt my joints. I can still continue to do these kind of things, and it can still work my heart. Okay, like sprints for example, you don't have to do like hill sprints. They can work your joint, technically they can work your joints less, because if you're going uphill, then it's just less impact on your knees, but I can still hurt them. Okay, personally I like to do like ski sprints. It still works the heart, and like I like to so in the Muay Thai you can clinch. I like to clinch, so like doing this really helps. So try to look for like lower injury or lower intensity exercises for you to do. Okay, like still do heavy bag if you can, but try also having in mind like you are in a deficit, you may come to injury more easily. So maybe instead of hitting the bag full on all the time, okay, maybe only hit like 70% when you're doing pads. Maybe only do like 70%. Maybe go really hard like once a week, all right, on pads or on the heavy bag. But most of the time try to work on technique more, because it is more important that you are actually in a good healthy state as an athlete, rather than being injured and being forced to not train. Okay, now that's exercise covered. Okay, next is actually kind of still on exercise. Okay, so as I said, cardio is very very important for you, but also cardio is one of the biggest ways for you to like lose more weights. Okay, a lot of people, they like to do a lot of runs or a lot of walks, and they like, if you see long distance runners, they're like very skinny. Okay, Thai fighters for example, we Muay Thai fighters I should say, we have this mentality that like, if you don't run you don't get to fight. Like there are other ways of doing cardio that still replicate the idea of like basically working your heart. Okay, but another way of getting like, of losing more weight in your cut is actually just through like steps. Okay, doing 10,000 steps in a day isn't actually that taxing to your body. Okay, you're not going to get injured from it, and you're going to burn an extra maybe like 300 calories. And that doesn't sound like a lot again, but with everything else combined, it snowballs, and then you're going to lose a lot of weight. You're going to lose, if you do all these steps, like you're going to lose at least like 800 grams to maybe 800 grams to maybe a kilogram a week. And you can stay consistent with it, and it's not even going to be that bad, because you're going to be looking forward to maybe a dessert that you made, and it's going to be really nice, and you don't have to feel that bad because you're not really hurting your progress that much. Okay, 10,000 steps a day is not too difficult. Okay, I'm not saying you have to do it like outside, because sometimes, like I live in Scotland, usually it's raining. Today it's pretty fortunate, but you don't have to do the walks outside. It's nice. You can go for a walk maybe in the park, but you can go for a walk maybe on the treadmill, maybe after like you did bag work, go for a little like half an hour, 45-minute walk on the treadmill. It's easy work. You can do it on an incline if you want. Just do walks. Okay, do maybe like a little half an hour walk in the morning, a little half an hour walk after lunch, and then maybe another half an hour walk like after dinner or before dinner. You'll be able to hit the 10,000 steps. you could, if you want to make it even more effective, you could have like a, I don't do this, but like you could have a backpack on, and it's called like rucking. Basically, you're holding, or you've got something heavy on your back and you're like trying to still walk with it. You will burn more calories from it because you're walking with weights, but you don't have to do that because you're already training quite a lot. So it's up to you if you want to have that upper edge. Okay, so 10,000 steps. How you do it is up to you. You can do it on the treadmill, you can do it outdoors. What I did preparing for my fights was just to walk outside. Like if I woke up, not if I woke up, if I had breakfast, I'll just go for like a half an hour walk. I'll walk around town, then I'll do something else. Then I maybe have a coffee, then I go for another walk. I just go places, I just do stuff, okay? Now, one of the most important things as an athlete as well is obviously your recovery. You can train as hard as you want, but if you are injured, obviously you can't do anything, all right? You might be able to research. You can research fighters. You can listen to podcasts of fighters and that, but actually training is where you're going to make a lot of change. But if you're not getting your sleep done, if you're not getting good sleep, if you're not getting long enough sleep, you will struggle. Especially if this is like your first fights, you are going, I will tell you now, I couldn't sleep. I could sleep, but I woke up I think 3 times on like the night before the fights, or fights rather. I couldn't sleep that well. I really couldn't. And it's because like, well, personally, I knew I was going to do well, but I was still very excited. I kept on waking up thinking, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late. It's going to be bad for you. I'm telling you to make sure your sleep is on point, because it may be easy to sleep right now, but I want you to sleep really well during the rest of fight camp, all of fight camp if you can. Even just as an athlete or even a human being, you should sleep well. You should not be scrolling through Instagram for an hour before bed. You shouldn't be. Try to just stop using your phone 1 hour before bed, and already that will take you a long way through. And you need to get at least, on this topic, if I were to boil it down, get minimum 7 hours of sleep. 9 hours is even better, but I know you might be busy with other things, so 7 hours is a minimum, okay? And by that, I don't mean 7 hours in bed, I mean 7 hours of actual sleep, that you're not awake, not trying to get to sleep, actually asleep, okay? So that means if it takes, for example, if it takes you half an hour to get to bed, that's a lot. For a lot of people, it's like half an hour. Try to be in bed for 7.5 hours then. That means you take that into account, and then you actually are asleep for 7 hours, okay? What helps as well is actually sleeping or being in bed at the same time every night. And it's not possible all the time, yes, but by doing that, your body gets more used to when it needs to be sleeping, and it'll be easier to sleep, okay? But try to not scroll through Instagram an hour before bed or anything, okay? It doesn't help. Just try to do that. That's what I did anyways. Although some nights I was just scrolling through Instagram just so I could see like desserts that I could make. It can be kind of nice. But you shouldn't, okay? If you want deeper sleep, try to not use your phone. Try to make sure the room is dark. Try to make sure you're not listening to anything too loud. Try to get the best sleep as you can, okay? Because a tired fighter is not going to be a good fighter. Because you can be really smart, okay? You can be a very amazing fighter, but if you show up to training, for example, if you show up to training, you're going to be very lethargic. You're not going to be able to put in all the effort. You're not going to feel like you have energy, okay? You're going to be more forgetful than you should be as well. You're basically giving yourself like, it's the equivalent of giving yourself like forgetting to charge your phone the night before, and then you have to get through the day with like 2% battery. Like, it's horrible. It's horrible. Think about sleep as like charging your phone, that kind of thing. And it sounds like so millennial and that, but it's true. You understand where I'm coming from. Make sure you get good sleep, okay? These are the main things for the diet. Oh, also, I want to stress sleep here because I'm not a doctor saying this, but every time I've gotten really bad sleep, I become really hungry throughout the day. And I believe it's because if you get really bad sleep, one of your hormones, I don't know what it is, but I think it's like ghrelin or something, it gets more aggressive and you feel more hungry throughout the day. Okay, if you want to get through your diet easier, if you get good sleep, you're not going to feel as hungry throughout the day. Okay? And also, when you get more sleep, that means you literally have less time throughout the day to to think about food or just to go through things, okay? So, we're gonna recap. Calorie deficit. You can go 200 calories below your maintenance or 500 calories below your maintenance. Try not to go any under 500, otherwise it will hurt your performance training, okay? And you don't have to track this as well. If you eat literally 20% less, if you're not eating until you're really full, that will take you a long way already. But also try to avoid like liquid calories if you can, or just completely avoid it at all costs, really. Use like low calorie versions of it if you like. If you have like a sweet tooth and you still want something kind of sugary, you can have a 0 calorie like soda, okay? I highly recommend Irn-Bru Zero. Again, not sponsored, but tastes really good. You can have that, okay? Sprite Zero, Coke Zero, all that. Just make sure it doesn't clash with your sleep. A lot of sodas have caffeine in it, so I would say don't drink caffeinated stuff after 2 p.m, especially if you want to get to sleep at like 11. Nothing after 2 p.m, okay? Exercise. Still try to exercise, but keep in mind that your performance isn't going to be as great and you are going to be more injury prone because you are on a deficit. So be very careful, like try to adapt how you might train. You don't need to go 100% on the bag every time you are on the bag. Maybe go 100% once a week instead of going 100% every single time you are using the bag. Maybe if you do the bag 3 times a week, then go maybe focus on technique more so than power on the bag when you are there, okay? Still, obviously, like if you can, wrap your hands as well, by the way. A lot of people like to just throw on gloves and just start boxing. Like, use wraps, okay? If you're a young fighter like me, like use wraps. You'll need your wrists, and also, again, you're more injury prone. If you don't use wraps, you're more prone to possibly destroying your wrists, okay? Steps and cardio. Still try to do your cardio, but again, if you can use like a less intense version of whatever cardio you do that, okay? Like I would highly recommend rowing. That's what I did. It works really well for the clinch as well because you're like moving like this. It's great. And obviously try to still work your heart. It's still kind of suck, but that's just how it is with the cuts. This cut will be hard, but obviously the less of a cut you do, like 200 calories less, it'll be a bit easier, okay? 10,000 steps every day. You don't have to do it in one go. You can separate it from morning, afternoon, night. You'll hit it. Just go outside 30 minutes or go to the gym, do like 30 minutes or 45 minutes like treadmill after your workout. You'll be able to like fit it in 10,000 steps. It's very doable. And MyFitnessPal as well, it will also track how many steps you do, so it's quite easy, and also takes it into consideration for your weight as well, for whatever target weight you want to hit, okay? Last thing is sleep. 7 hours minimum, 9 hours. It's nice, especially like the more sleep you get, basically the better, but 7 hours minimum. Make sure it's actually quality sleep. If it takes half an hour for you to get into bed, then take that into consideration as well. Don't be in bed for 7 hours, be in bed for 7.5 hours. So you are actually sleeping for 7 hours. Okay, this is everything I did while I was dieting as a Muay Thai fighter. I hope this is helpful for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And hopefully, yeah, this is helpful. See you later.